Hey, what's up, everybody? I think that I am live now. I'm using this new system for Facebook, so we'll see how it goes. I am wrapping up my Challenge to Lead series, and I can't believe it's been 30 days. So looking back, there's a quote that I love: the days are long and the years are short. And like when you look back each day, it just seems like it just goes and goes, especially right now. It seems like they kind of drag on, right? But it's been 30 days. It's amazing. I can't believe it. Looking back, I started this on March 14th. I was in Pensacola flying, and I can't go back there again until the middle of May right now. So interesting to see all that's transpired over the last 30 days. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to review. It's going to be a little bit longer video, so jump on, jump off, whatever you guys want to do. But I'm going to go through all the last 30 days. So I'm going to take about 30 seconds for each day and just go through some of that stuff. So a little bit longer video today, but I think it's going to be worth watching this one for sure. And if you haven't watched or haven't followed along, this would be the one to watch, because now we have, it'll be clear what I talked about the entire 30 days. So I don't know, in the future, maybe I'm training everybody to just wait till day 30 and you can jump on and watch. But first of all, happy Easter. It's an amazing day. I really think that this is a breath of hope for a lot of Christians right now in the fact that Jesus is risen. And I'm going to go through some biblical stuff in the beginning that I covered this past 30 days. So I kind of took some notes here, so I'll be looking down and reading the notes. But there, in the first one that I posted, there was a series that my church was doing for the kids, and they said, God is good, Jesus is king, and prayer changes things. And I absolutely love that. I really did love it. So God is good, Jesus is king, and prayer changes things. And then my church over the last 7 weeks was doing the 7 I am statements in the Bible. So I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. I am the gate. I am the good shepherd. I am the way. I am the true vine. And I am the resurrection and the life. This week it was an amazing 7 weeks. And we covered 5 of those while I was doing this 30-day Facebook Live challenge. So some of the things that we talked about were fear and anxiety being normal. So fear and anxiety are normal. It's what we do and how we react to that will define us. So right now it's the defining moment that we have in our lives. So there's a lot of fear and anxiety going around right now, but how are we reacting to that? My pastor read a tweet that he saw, and it said, I was prepared for Lent, but I didn't think I would have to give up this much. And it just cracked me up when I listened to it. So I went back to my notes, and that was the first week that I was doing these Facebook Lives. And then he said, when you are in good times, you talk about the Lord, but when you're in anxious times, you talk to the Lord. So when you're in good times, you talk about the Lord. When you're in anxious times, you talk to the Lord. So interesting statement that my pastor at Church of the City gave. So he also mentioned in that same service, is it possible that the shepherd is leading us to a mandatory season of Lent right now? So we just wrapped up this season of Lent, and my 30 days were all inside of that. And it really made me think, like, are we in this mandatory season of Lent to be still and not to be hurried? And that really, for me, like, I felt hurried, and my calendar was slam packed before this. And now I feel still. I feel, I'm just taking it day by day. I don't have a lot of things to travel to, events to go to, stuff like that I had before. So, and a big thing that I pulled out of some of the sermons that I heard was our mission doesn't change, but the way we execute that mission needs to. So our mission doesn't change, but the way we execute that mission needs to. So that's one thing that we've been looking at inside of our business is, do we need to change our mission? I've seen a lot of restaurants do that over time, where now they're coming to the neighborhoods, they're taking orders, they're servicing the families and stuff like that, and taking delivery out. And their mission didn't change, but the way that they executed their mission did. Same with us and our business. So we're starting to see, like, how do we need to do that for our mission? So, and this is the biggest takeaway that I had from all of my church services over the last 5 weeks that I've been doing this is, will you be proud of how you responded in this uncertainty? So what would that look like when you look back on this time? Will you be proud of how you responded? And that was the whole point of these 30 days is I want to look back and say, man, when I look back and I wrote down all these messages that I gave. So after this, I'll go through my messages, but I am proud of who I was during these 30 days and who hopefully I put out to the community and to the people in my life, and that I was challenged to lead those folks. And looking back, I mean, that's all we can do, right? We can to think about who we are and who we want to be, and then are we proud of who that was over that time? And I am, and hopefully you guys are too, looking back on the last 30 days, last 40 days, going forward. 6 months from now, you look back and you're really proud of who you were during that time. So I started this on March 14th. I was in Pensacola. I was flying for the Navy then, and I was there for about probably 3 or 4 more days after I started this challenge. And then when I came back here, I hadn't gone back. So, and the DOD is not allowing us to go back. So we're kind of waiting for the travel ban to lift and to be able to go back and do that. But it was interesting to look back, and it seems, it didn't seem that long ago, but it's been, over 30 days now. So it's pretty wild. So going back through my last 30 days of Facebook Lives, I'm just going to kind of hit the topics. I basically just went back and wrote down all the topics. And so I'll go into some of them and just leave some of them as just the topic. The first one that I did was about leadership. Like, what does it mean to be a leader? What is a virus? A virus is something that knocks us down. It stops our body. It gives us a fever. It puts us in bed for 3 days. We don't want to eat. We don't want to put anything into our body, and we just slow down and reset our body after it's done. And we have to fight it off, right? And that's kind of this mandatory slowdown that I talked about is basically it. We just need to slow down and be still and move forward. So that's kind of what happened to the economy, what happened to businesses, what happened to all these things. And we're just waiting for that virus to be completely out of the system of the world, frankly, right now. And I talked about faith versus fear, and I talked about controlling what you can control. There's a lot of things that you can't control, but you're in control of a lot of things in your life and how you act. So the second one was slow down, rest, and recharge. So, take a break, relax, rest, recharge your batteries. We need to do that. We can't be just running nonstop all the time. We need to rest and run. So we need to go, and then we need to rest. So this is hopefully a time for us to stop, rest, be still, and be strategic about where we're going in the future. Control what you put into your mind. So only put in the good stuff. Don't be putting in the crazy media, the stuff that is just pulling you down, that's giving you anxiety. What are you putting in your mind? What are you reading? What are you thinking about? That's a big thing. Really control that. It's one thing that you can absolutely control. Everyone has something going on under the armor was the title of another one. So I had a conversation with my really good friend, Natalie Hennis. We did a podcast together. She's working through a battle with cancer right now, oral cancer. And so that was an interesting conversation to have. And she just got hit with something out of nowhere. Was in the best shape of her life, got hit with something like that, and just totally changed her world. A lot of what's happening for a lot of you guys right now. So highly recommend you guys go back and listen to that on the 7-Figure Flipping podcast with Natalie. But everybody's got something going on. We've all got something going on underneath the armor, underneath the facade, underneath the shell of what you see. There's other things that are going on. And not everything's not rainbows and butterflies all the time. So the next one was adapt and overcome. So think about what's happening. How are we going to adapt? How are we going to change and overcome those obstacles that hit you? This is just small problems that are happening that need to be solved over time. Do you ever think about what you think about? And really controlling what's going on. I thought this was day 7. I think a big thing for me was these Facebook Lives allowed me to really think about what I'm doing and be able to, give that message out to the world and say, what does it mean to be a leader? And even if you're a leader of 2 or 3 people, or your family, or some people in your community, or an entire huge 500-person company, what does that really mean? And so I really had to think about it and diagnose it. So if you actually think about what's going through your mind, you're going to be able to be intentional with these things. And that same day, I was able to announce the fact that we were number 7 in Florida on the Inc. 5000 list for all businesses. So really amazing. We're the second real estate company in Florida for that Inc. 5000 list. So it's a huge announcement. I loved sharing that with my team. The next day I did this toilet paper calculation of how much toilet paper I had in my house. So the message there was you have to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes and have a little humor as a leader. So you can't be all business, all uptight all the time. You got to have a little bit of humor and kind of be able to laugh at yourself. So that's what we did. And then other people are watching. People are watching you. was the next message the next day. When I go down to Pensacola, there's young flight students that are watching everything that we do as senior officers, and how our uniform looks, how we act, what we say, what we do, all those things they're watching. And I flew for the weekend with the same student we flew 6 times over the weekend, and I could tell he was really just kind of paying attention to what I was saying and what I was doing, especially during this time after we had been in this for about a week. And your kids are watching you, your family's watching you, your neighbors are watching you, everybody's watching you, especially the higher up you get, like the more leadership potential that you have in different organizations in your life, people are watching you. So make sure you know what you're putting off, you know what you're putting out there. Remember how far you have come. So when this is a great one because I look back 30 days. It's amazing how far we've come in those 30 days. At the end of this, I'm going to share a lot of the different things that I saw, that we did, and all of that. And it's really incredible how far that we go, and we don't know. Like that thing is, the days are long and the years are short, and we really don't know how far we've come. So really think about that, how far you've come in everything that you've done, and be proud of that, and look at the little wins, not just the big wins, not these huge goals. Like really pay attention to what's happened, what's changed, all of that stuff. So let's see, then I talked about finding money. It's so important. This was the day that the hard money lenders all pulled back. Like our 100% finance hard money lenders pulled back to 80%, put a bunch of fees on it, on their loans and everything like that. And people were freaking out. And so we did a coaching call on how to raise private capital. And so we did that. I was talking about how important it is to have private money and have access to that, and not be dependent on that light switch that can just turn on and off, that you're not expecting someone just to stop lending you money in these institutional lenders. So take care of each other in good times, but even more now, and be passionate about helping others. So I did a podcast with Andy McFarland, and we talked about passion, and he just mentioned the fact that they're going out in the community and helping each other and asking how they're doing financially and emotionally and all these things out in his neighborhood. And this is just amazing to see that. Like, this is what we need to do, is take care of each other all the time, in good times, but especially now. So I talked about being a servant leader that day, and really being a leader and lead from the front and lead by example. The next one was, you don't know what you need. So you don't know what you need. So if you knew what you needed, if you knew the answer that you needed to what's happening in the world right now and everything that's going on, you can see the future, then what would life be all about? It would be so boring. You don't know what you need. So I think I talked about an event that I went to, and I needed to sit through the whole thing. Like, I didn't get a schedule and a calendar and times and everything, so I could pick and choose what I wanted, because a lot of times what happens is we don't know what we need. So let that mentor be the guide for you and help you. And like, when you're ready, that thing that you need is going to show up. So you don't know what you need. So stop trying to control everything that you do and everywhere that you go, and all that's the journey is the most important part. You don't know what you need. It will show up when you're ready. Trust me. Just keep putting in the reps and the time. Remember what you are capable of being on your best day. So I did a podcast with Bruce Norris, investor out in California. And that's one thing that he mentioned on that podcast is just amazing to hear. So remember who you're capable of being on your best day. And I think that, thinking back at that time, I remember that podcast, we were talking about September 11th, and I remember exactly where I was. I remember exactly what happened. And looking back to that, how we reacted as Americans was just amazing to see. And I really hope that when we look back on this, we feel as proud as we did at that time of how we reacted as a country and as a group of people. So remember who you're capable of being on your best day. Absolutely love that. The next one was, how are you spending your time? So are you spending your time on binging on Netflix and, getting anxious and just running around in circles and analysis paralysis type stuff? Are you building your capabilities? Are you spending your time getting the information and the training and the knowledge that you need to come out of this and be bigger and stronger and faster than you were going into it? Or are you just feeling sorry for yourself and wasting time and getting just in a loop? Or are you really intentional about it? Are you really focused? a great quote, I think, that I shared from Abraham Lincoln. So if I had 6 hours to cut down a tree, I would spend 4 hours sharpening my axe. So I hope I got that right. It's off the top of my head this time. But it's just, you really have to spend that time working on your capabilities, working on your training, working on who you're going to become and getting bigger, better, faster during this time for sure. The next one was exercise. To just get outside and stay active at a time like this. You just want to stay active. You want to continue to, build up your activity level and keep your mind right, and just get outside and do the same kind of stuff that you were doing before, obviously distancing as you need to. The one after that was the hero's journey. I talked about Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero's Journey. And then we're right now we're in a transformation. We're in this transformational period right now in what's happening and what's going on. The whole world is transforming right now. So where are you going to be on this hero's journey? Are you gonna quit before you're able to come out of that into that transformation to who you should and want to and have the potential to become? The next one was prioritize and execute. So straight from Jocko Willink's book, Extreme Ownership. So we talked about prioritizing and execute our day and what we're doing. And so important. I pick up that book and read all the other laws on it. Get nostalgic. I talked about that the next day. So for me, music helps me. With the nostalgia. So I was listening to some music from Flip Hacking Live, and it just so happens that today is 6 months from when I'm going to be flying out to Flip Hacking Live in October. And so pretty interesting that the end of this fell on Easter, and it also fell on my 6 month timeline for Flip Hacking Live. So for me, music helps. Do what you like. I love just looking back, and I listened to it, and it was about 6 months after Flip Hacking Live, so it took me back to that place that I love. It's one of the events that I absolutely I love that event. It's fantastic. So the next one was support small businesses and how you can. So I was sitting there with my son eating donuts in front of the little donut shop outside of our neighborhood. And it's so important to support those local businesses, and like, what can you do right now and how can you help? And so we bought some gift cards. We've been leaving a little bit extra tip. We've been doing the things that we can do to support those small businesses. Then you choose how you show up each day and how you feel. So it's up to you. You choose. Are you going to stay in pajama pants or the pajamas all day and not shower? Or are you going to get up? Are you going to, even though you're working from home, are you going to get up? Are you going to start your day right? Are you going to do your morning routine? Are you going to put in the time and the effort and the energy? So you choose if you build up that anxiety, or you just get to it and what's happening. So I realized in the beginning I was putting so much information in my mind, but after about a week or 5-6 days, I felt a lot better with that. Then the next one was make an impact. So we announced that we're giving a house away 100% with no mortgage in about 30 days. And it's something great that happened. So we finally are approaching the finish line on that project. And we're making an impact in a time when people are hoarding their money or just trying to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to fire employees? We're giving away a $110,000 house, mortgage free, to a Gold Star family. So just an amazing Facebook Live that I was able to do to talk about that. The next one was E plus R equals O. So Jack Canfield talks about event plus response equals the outcome. So we can't control the event. If we want to change the outcome, we have to change our response. You have to change your response. Do not blame the event for the outcome. Blame the response. The response is up to you. You dictate the response. One of my favorite things. Then I talked about adaptability, flexibility. Talked about crew resource management in the military and when we're flying, and being adaptable and flexible and how we make changes on the fly. And we have to, it's so important right now. The landscape is changing. So how are we adapting and how are we becoming flexible? I think like Americans, human beings, period, are super adaptable. We can flex, we can change, we can adjust. And the faster we can do that, the better in this kind of environment. And I see it. It's happening right now. Like that transformation is happening. And that led me into that we're still spending money. We're just spending money in different places. And that's that adaptability, flexibility to businesses. They're allowed, like we still are spending money. We still have money. We're not hoarding money. We didn't stop like putting money into the economy. You're just doing it online. We're doing it a little bit differently. So you might have to adapt and flex your business or whatever you're doing to be able to capture some of that now and make an adjustment. And then I talked about gratitude. Gratitude is like the most important thing in the world, period. It makes the world turn. So one thing that I'm going to do going forward is I'm going to just send a short email or note or text message each day, one of them a day in the morning. So my morning routine is going to start up going forward after today of just sending an email or a Facebook message or a text message or a call or something just to one person and just tell them how grateful I am for them and see what that does. And so for me, gratitude is so big. I'm blessed to be around a bunch of people that have huge hearts and they're very gracious. They are, sending me cards and notes and things like that on a regular basis. It's amazing. So gratitude is what keeps us going. So those were my messages. Here's a couple things before I sign off. And I know, I'm pushing 20 minutes here already. So these are some things that happened over the last 30 days. I camped out back with my son. We put up the tent, we made s'mores, and me and him slept in the tent on the ground in our backyard. It was amazing. The next morning, he wanted to become a Cub Scout. I signed him up for Cub Scouts that Sunday morning. So really, really cool to see that. Him and I went flying. We just took an hour, took the airplane up and went flying and flew over the house, flew over the neighborhood, and just me and him spent some time together, pilot, co-pilot. It was just awesome. I told you, I announced the Inc. 5000. We were number 7 in Florida on the Inc. 5000. Such a great time with my team and my staff that we were about a week into this kind of pandemic, and I was able to get on a call with the whole team and the whole staff, and they thought I was going to drop a bunch of bad news like I'm firing everybody, and I told them how impressed I am with them and how awesome they're doing. And so that was incredible. We talked about the house giveaway. We're giving away a house here in about 30 days, hand over the keys mortgage free to a family who lost their husband and a little kiddo that lost their dad in the military. So that's just an amazing accomplishment and thing that we could do as a team. I transitioned our military conference, Veterans REI Live. I transitioned to that from a live event to a virtual event, May 29th and 30th. So I did all the planning, all the shifting, all the changing to transition that to a virtual event. We had 2 events in our 7-figure flipping community that have gone from live to virtual. And then we have I had 2 canceled events. So one that I was going to go to, I had a bunch of events that I was speaking at that got canceled. And then I had one that we canceled as a company, 7-figure. So all of that stuff happened. We celebrated birthdays. I celebrated a birthday, my Aunt Irene, her daughter Alyssa. They were born on the same day, amazingly. Celebrated their birthday, celebrated my dad's birthday. And today is my COO, Nate Johnson's birthday. So Nate, happy birthday, man. I hope you had an awesome time. We couldn't do any of this without you. Everybody at 7-figure flipping is just so thankful for you and grateful to have you in the community and running Blackjack on a day-to-day basis. And everybody in Blackjack, I know we wouldn't be where we are without you, man. So it's awesome that you share your birthday today on Easter with one of the best stories and the best story in history. So we shared all these last 30 days through the entire Lent season. It's the season of Lent, and ended it on Easter, which is absolutely amazing. Not planned. I have no idea how this happened, but it's definitely by design that I could sit here today and share all of these things and look back. And this is almost more for me than it is for anybody watching, because you really see when you look back at how far you've come over 30 days that it's amazing to see the things that you were accomplished and were done when you don't think that you're really moving that rock too far. And it's especially in times like this, if you're not taking stock on a day-to-day basis of how far you've come, you really need to. So lots of stuff happened. This was a great 30 days. This is a great challenge, and anybody that joined me or is still going, really, I would challenge you guys to take a look back and spend some time to think about what you talked about those last 30 days. Document it, write it down. I've got it all here on the iPad, and now I can look back and say, what messages do I need to get me motivated today? And anyway, thanks for sticking around with me for almost 25 minutes here. These last 30 days have been great, and hopefully they have given you some ideas of how to be a better leader, how to grow as a leader, how to lead your team. The last thing I want to share with you is about my business in Blackjack. So there's a lot of real estate investors that are that I'm friends with that might watch this, and what I want to say to them is it's been 30 days, and we have not made any adjustments inside my company yet. We've seen some data. We've seen some things that have happened. We've seen some increase in online leads. We've seen the fact that we've closed a couple more online contracts. We're still closing contracts. We have some of our buyers for our wholesale deals that are looking for a little bit better deals, like they're adjusting their numbers a little bit. We have some that are still buying just as much as they were before, and we have some people that kind of put the pause button on. And so we haven't adjusted anything yet. And there's a lot of people that just pulled the trigger, fired a bunch of people, made some changes, kind of doing a lot of things differently. And we're still collecting data right now, 30 days into this from my Facebook Lives, where, and I don't know if we're right or we're wrong, but I will say that our marketing's still going out. We're still operating. We're all virtual anyway, but we're operating business as usual that we were before. Obviously not going on a lot of appointments. We're doing a lot of phone closings and conversations like that. But it's we're still, like, I think April, it was still going to look, it looks like it's going to be a good month for us. And looking forward, I think that if we might not be as exactly as profitable as we were before, but we still have not made changes. Like, I'm really watching everything that's happening. I'm a data person. I really look at the data, and we haven't made any changes yet. We have some contingency plans. If this happens, then we're going to do that. If that happens, then we're going to do this. But right now, it hasn't been major adjustment for us. So anyway, that's for the real estate folks. It's pretty interesting looking back 30 days and seeing that we haven't really made any adjustments to our team, to our staff. In fact, we hired 4 people in Blackjack that are, commission-based folks over the last week. So it's interesting to see what's happening there. And I'll keep you guys updated if you follow me at 7-Figure Flipping and on the podcast, then I'll update there. So, okay, 25 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I hope you guys, if you haven't started this challenge to lead and you want to start, this is obviously going to be my last push for you guys to start, but highly recommend you do it. A 30-day Facebook Live challenge is not easy to do. There's some days that I almost forgot. I was doing them late at night like this. And, but it's valuable. I'm gonna tell you right now, and the community and the people out there, they need to hear the good stuff. So if you're sending out the good stuff, then they can start taking it in. And hopefully this overwhelms the airwaves of, the mainstream media, the scare tactics, all that stuff. So I hope you guys be blessed tonight. Happy Easter. He is risen, and I cannot wait to continue this in some way or fashion going forward in a different challenge. This is my second 30-day challenge that I've done on Facebook Lives. So hopefully you're not getting sick of me, but we'll see what happens next. Okay. Have a great night. Happy Easter. Hug your family, kiss your kids, and I'll see you. I don't know. See you soon. Bye.